Good morning, everyone. Very welcome to this presentation of connectivity and integration with ELIS. My name is Erik de Meijer and I'm a senior business consultant in the Netherlands. In the upcoming 40 minutes, I'm going to tell you everything about this topic. I would like to start with a short introduction and then take a look closer into process and system integration. After that, I'm going to tell you more about integration with Exact, and I will show you a short demonstration of our software. After that, it is time to discuss some future development, and after the question, there's the possibility to have a live question and answer session together with me and my colleague Sander van Triet. If we look at connectivity and integration, we are going to look a bit broader, and we're looking to the trends that are currently present in software development. The first trend we see is a trend called social. What we see is that more people are using social media nowadays. We talk about Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, WhatsApp, and also social media is becoming more and more relevant for business as well. So the question is also, when you are developing software, what are you going to do with those trends? And we have examples of companies who really embrace social at this time. In the Netherlands, we have an airline called KLM, and they decided to put social first. So when you have a question with KLM, it doesn't matter whether if you give them a phone call, send out an email, or leave a message on Twitter or LinkedIn, you get a response within 1 hour. So they really embraced it and incorporated the entire social media into their business processes. So that is one trend we see, and that's also driving our software development. The second trend we see is mobile. Nowadays, most people are using a smartphone, and more people are bringing their own device also to work. And this also has a lot of impact for the IT department. And people are more and more used to apps. If we look 10 years ago, when you bought a game or a piece of software, you also got a big instruction manual with it. Nowadays, if you buy a smartphone, there's no manual at all. And if you buy an app, there's no manual included, maybe some help files. And it's also not necessary because it's very easy to use. And people are used to that and also expect that from business software as well. So that's also very important when we are developing our software, is that we make sure that it's going to be easy and user-friendly. At the same time, we see that desktop computers are highly and rapidly replaced by laptops and tablets, and that's also very important to know that you need to connect to the software when using a tablet or smartphone. The next trend we see is analytics. More and more paper is today being put into systems, so more and more data is being gathered every day, and companies like Google, they make a living out of it by only collecting data. And it's becoming more and more important to not only generate reports out of your data, but also make analysis and do analytics about your data. Analytics can be predictive, and maybe on the data you have, you can determine what you need to do for the next month or year. The last trend we see is cloud, and that's basically the trend where people do not have the software installed in the company, but they put it to a specialized company and they only connect to it. And next to that, they don't do an investment up front, but they pay a monthly subscription fee. So that is basically 4 market trends which are very important nowadays and also really drive our software development. And if you look at integration and connectivity, you can imagine it is relevant for all 4 of these topics. Now, if you take a look at information technology, who is in charge? What we see nowadays is you have maybe an ERP system, but there are also all other kinds of stuff which is important and needs to be connected to your ERP. Maybe you have a bookkeeping system, you have customers, you have suppliers, a web shop, the IRS, You name it, but they all need to talk with each other. And of course, you can have different scenarios. Most of the people nowadays are on-premise. So on-premise means that you have everything installed within your own company. So you're fully responsible for updating your own software. You have to maintain your own integrations. And the next variety is that you can have a private cloud situation. So basically you say, okay, well, this is my entire infrastructure. I give it to a specialized company and they maintain it for me. Now the last variety we see is it's called a shared of a public cloud, and that's an example of that is, for example, our Exact Online software. That is software available in Europe for bookkeeping, etc. And what you see there is that people pay a subscription fee, they log in, but they do not have control about the date and the version of the software. They get an email, okay, well, there's going to be an update of the software this Sunday. You're not going to be able to log in, and after that we're on the new version. So they share one software set. And in all these three examples, it is very important to have control of your integration as well. And second to that, if you look at information technology as a company resource, who is maintaining and checking? If you look at an IT department, when something is not working, a lot of people are emailing, it's not working, and it would be very convenient to be notified up front. And here's some quotes. And what you see is that an average person spends 13 hours a week just reading and processing email, for example. So it is very important to be in charge. If you take a look of process and system integration then, here's an example. What we see here on the bottom is that we have two systems available. It's System X and System Y, and that is running in the company. And there is a need for another system. And I mentioned you have an ERP system and an HR system, and you decide to purchase a planning system, which could be System A in this case. Then, of course, the first question is, okay, when I have a planning system, I want my resources to be in there, but I don't want to enter them again. They are already available in System X. So what I'm going to do, I need to make sure that the resource is entered into System X, and then it has to go to System A and maybe also to System C and System Y. How can you arrange that? Now, what we see in a traditional way is that these kind of exchanges become more and more complex. Because the first question is that the resources need to be in System A, but after the planning has been made, the calendar and the tasks need to be synchronized maybe with System C and System B. So you get more and more integration questions about that. And what you see in a traditional way is what you do is you have a file. In this case, it is a resource file. It's going to be exported, and you import that into the planning system. And you can do that in the most easiest way via a scheduled task. And you say, okay, well, every hour I'm going to look if there are new resources, and they are imported into the planning system. Now, what will happen then is that you only be notified when something is wrong when a person calls you that a person is not in the planning system as it should be. And then you're going to look into your scheduled task and you see, oh, well, it hasn't been running for 2 or 3 hours. How did it happen? So what you see is that it takes a lot of time, and because a scheduled task is also not running real time, it can take some time. What more and more companies are doing when integration is becoming complex, they start using to work with a layer, and that's called a service bus or enterprise service bus. It is an integration layer. And these integrations layer make use of web services. And basically it means that when something changes, in this case, again, in System X, so a resource is going to be added, it is automatically, directly put into System A and System C. So that is in more complex environments a solution which is used nowadays. How does it work then? There is a listener, and that listener listens to changes into a system. So it listens to, for example, if resources are added or updated. If that is the case, it says, okay, well, you have to put this data and send it to other systems. And then it writes real time into other systems. And so you don't have the delay anymore. And also you can maintain multiple integrations into one service bus and maintain it from there. Of course, there are some other possibilities for integration, but these are the two examples I would like to point out. Now then, if we take a look at integration with Exact, of course, with Exact we also have to deal with integration. Only if we look at our own products, Exact Globe, Exact Synergy, they also have an integration with each other. There are also third-party products who need to talk to Exact. So integration with Exact is also very important. If we take a look at some challenges and needs we heard from our customers. Now what we see is that, as I already pointed out, there's a broad variety of applications, maybe several Globe databases, Synergy database, maybe also some email marketing tool, Facebook, LinkedIn, Exchange Server, Office 365. These are all applications that need to talk to each other. And yeah, of course, then when you have to do with integration, you ask yourself some questions like, how do I ensure the data is entered in as few places as possible? You don't want to have resources entered into 5 systems with all the consequences like making errors and etc. And also, how do I make sure all the systems have the same current data? So if I look into the planning system, I want to see exactly the same resources as I see in my ERP system. And how do I control the chain of exchanges there are? So if something changes into the HR system, it needs to go into the planning system, and then it goes back to my warehouse again. And also, when there is an incident, how do I prevent business impact? So how do I make sure that when something goes wrong, that I'm going to be notified? And maybe you have multiple locations or maybe even multiple countries, and how do I integrate these as well? So these are some challenges our customers are facing as well. And they need simplicity and control. And wouldn't it be great if we had one simple interface to install and manage all these replications, and also use one technique for exchange between the various systems, and also one central place for updating my apps carefree. And of course, when something happens, proactive detection and having an alert. And also, it should be scalable and designed to support complex and international environments. The next question would be, why integration? I think I already pointed it out. It is becoming more and more important, and maybe even more important than ever. If we take a look again at the market trends, big data, the Internet of Things, that's what you see is that more and more devices are using the Internet as well. You can imagine cars, refrigerators, any other device is able to use the Internet. So it's becoming more and more important to integrate these. And we also see a trend that more people are using different kinds of specialized solutions within the companies. And you don't want to enter all these data 3 or 4 times. What is our solution then? Our solution is called ELIS, and ELIS stands for Exact Lightweight Integration Server. And it is a framework, and it's one framework for centrally managed data and integration between the Exact products. And in this case, with the Exact products, I mean Exact Synergy and Exact Globe. Now, below are 3 examples which are currently available for that framework, and that is the Exact integration between Globe and Synergy, the Exact word merge, which is used to make merge letters from Exact Synergy, and the shop floor control solution. What is ELIS? Now what we see here is the ELIS framework, and the ELIS framework can talk to different kinds of software. In this case Synergy and Globe, but you can imagine later on it also has to talk with Exchange Server, Microsoft Office and Facebook. And how does it work in depth? Now if we look at this picture, what we see on the left hand is Exact Synergy, and on the right hand you have Globe. Now between those applications there needs to be communication, and that communication is handled by the Exact Lightweight Integration Server. What does it do? It looks at both applications and looks if something is changed. If so, it sends a message to the other application and updates the data. Next to that, it also looks if something is going well. If something is not going well, it can send out an alert as well. So it really is just like the slide I showed you before with the Enterprise Service Bus. It's a layer between two products which takes care of communicating and managing integrations. And what you see here is on top of that you can add first of all the products, so you can add multiple or single Synergy environments and also add one or more Globe databases. And on top of that you place the solutions you are using. So you can, if you use the extra integration, you add the integrator. If you use shop floor control, you add that one as well. And if you also use WordMerge, you add that one also. And if you only use the Exact integrator, you only add that package. But you have the possibility to add multiple packages to ELIS. Now it's time for a short demonstration, and the demonstration I'm going to show you some screenshots of the ELIS console, and I'm going to show you what it is all about. This is a screenshot of the ELIS console, and on the left hand you see a tree, and the tree consists of products, solutions, monitoring and settings. The first thing you can do is easy update all the integrations with one click. Under the console there is an update button, and if you click it on the right hand you directly see if you are running the latest versions of a solution. In this case I'm looking for the Exact integration, and I see that there is a new version available for the Exact integrator. Now to install that I only have to click the button install, and that's it. And then within seconds it is installed. So I do not need to run separate MSIs or reinstall software. No, I only have to press the install button and I'm good to go. The second example. If you start with ELIS, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to add the products. So you point out, okay, where is my Globe database? Where is it? What is the location? So you put in the address, you point out the SQL server and the database, and you put in your credentials. Now if you press connect, it will automatically retrieve the version of the Globe database, and below you also see a button alert settings. And with alert settings you can define an email address, and when something goes wrong and something does not replicate, an email is automatically sent out to the email address defined in these settings. And for Synergy you can do the same, but on top of that, for Synergy we have also the possibility to let ELIS create a task into Synergy. So then it can also come via mail, but you can also get a task directly into your Synergy workflow and be notified when something is not working. Instead of a colleague is coming to you and say, okay, well, I'm not seeing any data, isn't something working? In this case you see that via email already. So you define your products once, and not for every solution you have to enter these credentials again. ELIS knows, and you only have to say, okay, well, I want to connect to that Globe database and that Synergy database, and you're good to go. This is a screen where you can add or edit the current solutions. So out of the box we deliver an amount of solutions, and maybe when there's a new solution available you can add this via this screen. And it's basically nothing more than adding a zip file. So you select file, you browse to your computer, you select the zip file, and the integration is added. So you only need to configure the add-on, but then you're also good to go. This would become important if third-party applications are also going to make use of ELIS. So imagine you have a third-party product which needs to connect to Exact, and the third party decides to build the integration on ELIS. Then they hand out you a zip file, and you can upload the zip file, and you have the integration installed. The next screen is about the monitoring, also a very important page. And what you see here is that you can also make selections on criteria. So you can make you can select the time range, or you can also say, okay, I want to see everything from Synergy to Globe, or vice versa. You can directly also see what went wrong in the last period. Together with a message, you can also click through on that error message. And more important, there is also directly a retry button. So imagine you have a connectivity set up between Globe and Synergy. Something went wrong, so you get an email and it says, okay, well, the replication has failed. You go to your ELIS console, you go to monitoring, and you directly see an error. In this case, it's an invalid MAC address, so that can be solved by changing the MAC address in the Globe database. And after that has been done, you can click the button retry, and it is automatically being retried. So the data is going to be sent after that as well. And also, again, from one console. Some future developments. Now, if you look at the current status, and maybe some of you already noticed that the ELIS framework is already available since January. What we did is we start by developing the framework, and the first goal we have is that we want to have all our own solutions into ELIS first. At this time, the Exact integration, word merge, and shop floor control are already general available, so you can use that right away. And at this time, the exchange synchronization for replicating the Outlook calendar with the Synergy calendar is in controlled release. And controlled release means that are some dedicated customers are testing the software. They're also getting help from our controlled release team. And when they say, okay, everything is fine, there are no bugs, it is going to be available as well. Now, what is on the roadmap? Now, the first one is very important. That is an SDK. And SDK is very important when third-party applications want to connect to Exact. So if there is a party who is who wants to talk with Exact, he can build an ELIS connection with the SDK. So this is the first item that's going to be developed on the roadmap. Now, next to that, what you see is other Exact solutions like CMDM, service management, PSA, and incoming invoice register. These are also going to be built in ELIS. Now, what is another advantage of using ELIS? What you see now is if a customer has all these integrations running, he can have maybe 23 or 24 different services on the server. And they all have a different setup now. So if you want to monitor these, some you can monitor via your SQL Server Management Studio, some you can monitor via another application, but you have a lot of services and you have to look in very different places to manage that. Now, by building all these solutions into ELIS, we make sure that we have one big framework where a customer can monitor all the exchanges within Exact. And also we managed to reduce the amount of services running. We had indeed a customer who had 23 or 24 services running, and with ELIS he only had 5 or 6. So there's also being a huge reduction of the amount of services running actually on the server itself, which also improves performance. Then it's time for my summary. Now, if we look at the challenges and the needs I pointed out earlier, then I can say, this can be answered with ELIS. So we deliver one framework for all the Exact products. We have the ability to quickly add and connect new solutions. And you can do that easily by clicking a button, or if it is not available, add a zip file. And very important, real-time monitoring of integration. And of course you can do it via the ELIS Console, but you can also be notified via email or a task in Synergy. Now let's make sure that as a result that IT needs less time spending on integration. So they only have to look in one system to see everything is running okay. If something is not working, they will be notified immediately instead of getting 5 emails from colleagues maybe 2 hours later. It will also minimize business risks because you are using only one technique for all those kinds of integrations. Easier updating. Imagine you update to a new version of Synergy or Globe. You just update software and it says, okay, well, also a new version of the integrations are available, and you click the updates buttons and you're good to go and ready for the future. When I started my PowerPoint presentation, I pointed out everything is on-premise, but maybe some applications are in the cloud. And then it's also always the discussion, okay, well, how I'm going to integrate that. Now the ELIS framework is also being built for the future. So maybe if you have an application in the cloud in the future and they deliver another solution with the SDK, you can also add this easier. And this is already the end of my presentation. I would like to thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them at the Q&A on your screen. And I'm available to answer these together with my colleague Sander van Triet. Thank you very much.